The Night Visitor. The gas station was just off Highway 42, nestled between a dying lumber town and a stretch of forest that always looked darker than it should. We were 20 miles from the nearest real city, and even then, real was a generous word. The building was nothing special: yellow flickering sign, 2 pumps, a dingy bathroom around the back. But to me, it was sacred. Quiet. Simple. A paycheck. I worked the graveyard shift, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., 6 days a week. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the rent, and there weren't many other options out here. Most nights were dead. A drunk or two. Maybe a logging trucker needing smokes and coffee. The occasional hitchhiker who looked like they'd crawled out of hell. I kept my head down. Eyes on the register. One earbud in, playing old Nirvana tracks low enough to hear the bell on the door. Then he started showing up. I remember the first night like a scratch on a clean record. It was just past 2 a.m. when he pulled up. No car, just appeared at the edge of the lot, walking from the tree line like he'd stepped out of the forest itself. He was tall. Unnaturally so. Thin, but not sickly. Just off. Too tall for his proportions. Shoulders slouched forward like a bird trying to fold its wings in. His jacket, olive green and moth-bitten, hung down to his knees. His hands were buried deep in the pockets. Head down. Face hidden under a low, trucker-style cap. He didn't come in that night. Just stood outside. At the farthest pump, maybe 50 feet from the windows. Staring. Or at least, I thought he was staring. Couldn't see his face clearly. He didn't move for over 10 minutes. I considered calling someone, but out here, someone meant the one part-time sheriff deputy who worked nights and slept through most calls. Eventually, the man turned and walked back into the woods. Vanished like mist. Second night, same thing. This time, closer. 30 feet maybe. Again, he didn't move. Didn't speak, just stood there while I pretended not to notice him. My stomach did that weird cold coil thing, like when you're about to get in trouble or see a car crash. After 20 minutes, he left again. By the 5th night, he was standing right outside the glass. I didn't hear him approach. Didn't see him cross the lot. Just turned from the register to find him on the other side of the windowpane, barely inches away. I stumbled back so hard I knocked over the display of Slim Jims. His face. God. It wasn't anything overtly monstrous. That would have been easier. It was just wrong. Pale skin, like someone who hadn't seen daylight in years. Lips too wide, stretched slightly upward in what might have been a smile, but with no warmth. Eyes so deeply sunken they looked like ink blots, no reflection, no emotion. And his teeth, when he parted his lips just enough, I saw rows of them. Tiny. Too many. Some were black. Some chipped. All too small, like baby teeth filed down. I screamed. Out loud. I hadn't meant to. He didn't move. Didn't flinch. Just stood there. Watching. That night I called the sheriff. He didn't pick up. Left a voicemail. Nothing came of it. Next night, I brought a tire iron from my trunk and set it behind the counter. Left the lights brighter. Kept all doors locked, even though policy said I had to leave the bathroom key available. He came back. This time, he smiled. Actually smiled. Wide. All teeth. Pressed his face right up to the glass. I could hear the faintest sound of his breath fogging the pane. That night, I didn't call anyone. Didn't run. Just stood still, holding the tire iron like a crucifix, hoping he wouldn't come inside. Eventually, he left again. But slower this time. Almost reluctant. I didn't sleep that day. Laid in bed watching the corners of my room, waiting to see that same silhouette in the window. I didn't eat. I didn't shower. Just came back the next night like a moth to the flame. He didn't come that time. Or the time after that. A week went by. I convinced myself it was over. Maybe just a drifter playing games. Maybe a hallucination from too much caffeine and not enough sleep. Then, Friday night, 3 a.m., the power went out. All at once. No warning. The light above the register popped. My playlist died in my earbuds. And the lot outside turned black. I sat in that thick silence for only a moment before the emergency light kicked in, one sickly red bulb behind the counter, barely enough to see. And then I heard it. Tap. 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 From the back window. Tap. Tap. Tap tap tap. Faster now. I grabbed the tire iron. Heart slamming against my ribs. I wanted to run, but my feet wouldn't work. The sound stopped. I waited. Nothing. Then a new sound, directly behind me, closer. The bell. The door chime. But I hadn't unlocked it. I turned, trembling. The door was shut. No one inside. But there, across the floor, were wet footprints. Bare feet. Long. Thin. Leading from the door halfway to the counter. Then. They stopped. As if he'd vanished mid-step. I didn't move from the counter for the rest of the shift. When morning came, and the power snapped back on like nothing had happened, I ran out without clocking out. I drove home and called my manager and quit. He didn't sound surprised. Didn't even ask for 2 weeks' notice. Just said, "Yeah. I get it." That afternoon, I drove out to the edge of the woods where the man always came from. I don't know why. Maybe to see if I could find any clue. Maybe to prove to myself that it was all in my head. I walked 15 feet in. 20. The trees were too close together. The air smelled rotten. Like wet meat. I turned around. He was behind me. Closer than ever. 3 feet away. Face to face. No smile this time. Just empty eyes. I dropped the flashlight. Bolted. I didn't hear him chase me. Didn't feel him follow. But I felt something, that cold coil again, only this time, it wrapped tight around my spine and it stayed there long after I reached my car and locked the doors. I never went back to the station. Tried to move in with my sister 3 towns over. Told her I had a breakdown. Told her I needed help. She gave me the guest room and said we'd figure it out. I lasted 2 nights. Because he came again. Not at the station. But here. To the house. Standing at the end of the driveway at 3:12 a.m., staring up at the window of the guest room. I didn't sleep that night. I waited until dawn, then packed my bags and left without a word. Didn't explain. Didn't say goodbye. He wasn't just a gas station drifter. He followed me. Everywhere I've gone since, he's followed. Never during the day. Always at night. Sometimes it's the sound of the bell chime when I'm alone in a room. Sometimes it's tapping on the bathroom mirror when I'm brushing my teeth. Sometimes I find muddy footprints on my porch. Once, I found one inside my locked apartment. I don't work anymore. Can't. Don't leave the house unless it's daylight. Don't answer the phone after dark. And still, he comes. He's patient. Each night, closer. I've tried everything, lights, cameras, alarms. They don't stop him. They just record it. I have hours of footage now. Him standing silently at my window. Him crawling across the ceiling of the hallway while I sleep on the couch. Him standing in the corner of the room, inches away, unmoving, while I toss and turn in nightmares I don't remember. Police don't believe me. One officer watched the footage and quit the force 3 days later. I called a priest once. He blessed the house. The next night, The priest was found wandering the woods barefoot, mumbling nonsense. He didn't remember why he went there. I don't know what he wants. I don't know who, or what, he is. Only this. He never speaks. Never leaves marks. Just watches. Like he's waiting for something. And I think tonight might be the night he finally stops waiting. I've seen signs. All the lights flickered earlier. My clocks are frozen at 3:12. The power is already out. And the bell just rang. But the door is still locked. And I haven't moved. He's inside. I can feel him. Right behind me. Watching.